Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another exciting episode. Our triumphant return to Narrative Difficulties Tomb of Annihilation. With me tonight, I have Galadremin.
Hi.
I have Treviathan.
Hello! We're back!
And I have Jay.
Super happy to be here.
Awesome to have all of you. So glad to be here again. Who remembers what happened when we last left off?
Murder!
Yes!
Mystery.
Murder, she wrote. Our beloved companion, John J. Seal, has unfortunately bit the dust. And now, in the morning, it is up to the three of you to determine what has transpired leading to his demise.
Well, we kind of know what happened. It's more how and who
Yeah,
mean,
are
just
the more
the
important thing.
the finer details of the
So-
events.
To remind us of a bit of the grisly scene, Mordai was also tied up, but in the other room.
So Mordai had wrapped themselves up in of their own volition in their blankets, just cocoon style to go to sleep. That was
Oh, okay.
them. They were not tied up by anyone. I'm gonna recap the evidence that
Okay, yes.
had last time. So one thing I'm also gonna be really clear about on this is I'm not going to hide essential information behind any perception rules. Okay? There's going to be a set amount of information, and you might not. I'm going to determine what information you find based on where you tell me you look and what you
okay.
do. Okay? So, let's go over to that map. I had a map. So you were at the inn, Kaya's Repose. At the end of the hall was the room where John J. Seal slept and was discovered in the morning by Treviathan and Galadremin, or by Yenben and Lila, rather. The two of you then rushed over to Mordai's room, played by Jay, to investigate him, and found that he was paralyzed
Right.
and tied up in a cocoon of his own making.
Okay.
So yeah, paralyzed. The night before, John J. Seal had a lengthy conversation with his father using the sending spell. That were burnt through like 3 of his spell slots to complete. Then Mordai saw a maid cleaning up John J. Seal's room shortly before bed. Then there was the last night, the window to John J. Seal's room was jammed shut. It would not open. And this morning, you discovered the window was completely removed, subverting the lock. The entire frame was taken out. Let's see, what else did you discover? I think that's all that you've seen so far. But now, we return to a scene where Mordai is paralyzed in bed, unable to speak. Yenben and Lila, what do you do?
I'm just gonna approach Mordai. First of all, ask her, are you okay? I guess 2 blinks for no. Okay, so you are okay. Ish.
Will you
Alright.
paralyze Lila?
Well, okay.
I'll allow the blinks, but I'll say like the blinks seem belabored and slow.
Well, that makes sense. Can I do a medicine check on our boy?
Could I
Sure.
assist with the medicine check?
Yeah.
What do you do? Please describe to me what you do during this medicine check. How do you investigate for this?
Well, I'm gonna I'm gonna look around where he's laying, look at him and where he's laying to see if I can see any evidence of anything. I'm gonna see if there's any unusual smells.
Okay.
If I can kind of like can I release him from his bedsheet prison without causing any damage?
That was going to be my tactic too.
Yeah.
So you want to try to unwrap him from the
Yeah, let's
from the
unwrap
blanket?
him. Yeah, let's
Sure.
unwrap him.
He explodes. We all die.
What's your constitution score?
Oh man.
Oh no,
It's
he's
okay.
not joking.
You rolled a nat 20 on your constitution saving throw.
Ah!
So
Okay, awesome.
well, as soon as you contact his blankets, you feel the muscles in your arms begin to spasm.
Okay, so
whatever is causing his paralysis is coating his blankets.
okay, can I do that medicine check now to see if I know or can?
So I'm gonna say you're gonna need to find you'll need to figure out some way to unwrap him without touching the blankets, or else you're gonna end up paralyzed yourself.
Okay. Do either of us have gloves?
I was gonna say,
Yeah, but do you have any gloves in your bag?
had we gotten, well, regardless, I have traveler's clothes. Just
Okay.
spare clothing. Just whatever spare clothing. I think we've already swapped out the party armor. I think Mordai is currently wearing that.
Right.
But it's now wrapped in those bed sheets. But I just have traveling clothes, and Yenman's already wrapping his hands up. Like
Perfect. And
Okay.
with that extra layer of protection, that's all you need. You're able to unfurl him. If you want, now you can make a medicine check with Mordai to try to help him.
Okay.
And
The
try
blanket is
to
going
identify where the material is where the substance is in contact with him.
Okay.
the blanket
well,
is going
that,
in the corner, and we're gonna set that on fire later.
that
Yeah.
was a 22.
Okay. So, excellent. Mordai, make a Constitution save.
Yay!
And now I need to... I've been waiting on this stuff because I put so much thought into this. And that information that I'm looking for is not there.
Of course.
I got a 14. I don't know why it added a +1, but I got 14. Oh,
Things are not
I didn't mean to put
rolling.
that down.
That's okay. I'll fix it.
Alright, I'm trying to go through trying to figure out where this +1 came from. It's been so long.
Let me just... So, the Constitution save... I just need roll 20 to load.
Who had our bag of holding?
Me.
Okay.
I
Okay, so
assume- I
DC
assume I didn't wear
13.
status.
All right. So with the DC of 13, with a roll of a 15, Mordai, you successfully save against this toxin, and you are no
Yay.
longer poisoned.
As in I can move?
You can move now. You can move freely.
Ah. Ow. That was awful.
Yeah, it sounds awful.
This place sucks.
Do you remember anything?
What the hell happened?
That's a good question. I assume I just went to bed like normal, and then woke up unable to do anything.
You didn't realize that you were paralyzed until you woke up. Because you were trying to sleep.
Yep, that's how it goes.
As one does. One does try to sleep.
Well, friend, you came out lucky. I hate to break this news to you. John was murdered in his sleep last night.
Oh, son of a. But we're.
And we don't know how,
Well,
or why, or who. And come think of it, I think we should go downstairs and start yelling fucking murder.
probably.
Yeah.
Can I druidcraft to make a really loud bird siren sound?
A bird siren?
Well, like a screechy bird noise that sounds like.
Sure, you can Druidcraft? Yeah, why not? Sure. I think that's usually a thaumaturgy thing, but I'll allow it.
And maybe the volume is limited because it is druidcraft. But...
So yeah, you want to run downstairs and start making noise and alarming everyone?
Well,
Is that like
we-
what's the goal here?
alarming?
Alarming, I don't know. That might draw unnecessary attention, but we should try to see if there's any. I want to see if anyone saw anything. I want to see if there's any. I mean, we saw blood, right?
Yeah.
So
So-
you saw multiple stab wounds. Let me double check this here. Okay. So in John's body, you saw the window pane was carefully removed.
There's blood down the hallway. There was some stabbies.
There was no blood down the hallway.
Oh, I thought you said that there had been bloody footprints.
Not
remember.
down the hallway. Entry and
Okay.
exit seemed to be through the window.
Okay.
And there are 2 stab wounds. John was laying on the bed, and there are stab wounds in his chest. Multiple stab wounds, some of which have burn marks around them.
Burn marks? Like, can you describe the burn marks?
Almost like it was from a branding iron or something. Like the flesh around the wound is burned, the clothes are singed around it, and cauterized,
Can one
but
of
very
us
much
try?
stabbed. So
I
are we
almost
going
wanna-
to John's room, or are we going downstairs? Where are we going?
I think
We haven't decided yet, but
Okay.
I think Yenben is kind of the opinion one of us should watch the body,
yeah.
and he'll volunteer to do that task. While you
Surprise,
two go
it's gone! No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. While you two
Weird.
go and do the peopling.
Okay. Can we do like a detect magic? Can we see if there's anything magic-y
Oh, can you?
happening? I'm
Well,
looking at Mordai.
Since I had my alarm up, did it wake me up at any point? Because I alarmed everybody's room, and it wakes me up, but I couldn't have moved. So when did
Yes.
I wake up unable to move? And you're just
Right. So you would have had. So the alarm would have triggered for you, and then you could not move.
Yes.
So it would have been in the middle of the night, at the darkest time of night. You would have gotten an alarm in John's room, but nowhere outside of it.
Yes. Okay. I must have had a terrible sleep. Woke up at midnight, couldn't move.
That's horrifying. That is
Right?
the worst kind of sleep paralysis. Like,
Have you just been stuck there since midnight?
Yeah.
Sorry, man.
oof. I am so sorry.
Yeah. All right. So, are the two of you running downstairs then? Jay and Galadremen?
Yes.
Well, I don't think we should run. I think we should look carefully around and see, on our way if there's any other evidence that we can find.
Sure.
Uh,
As soon as you go downstairs, you don't notice anything in the hallway or anything. But when you go downstairs, Jay, something stands out to you. There is no uniform among the staff here. So you vividly remember the maid in John J. Seal's room that was making his bed was wearing a French maid dress.
Yeah.
So, okay.
But none of the staff here seem to be wearing uniforms.
What are they wearing?
Very much just standard Chultan attire. A French maid dress might be something that you'd be more likely to see out in Baldur's Gate or Waterdeep or something like that, but it would be very out of place here.
I guess wave down one of the people who works here and be like, hi. Excuse me, who was you had an employee in like a white black maid uniform last night? Where they are? They were tending the rooms last night.
Kaya herself approaches and says, we don't wear those kinds of uniforms here. That's not something that we do here in Chult. It's kind of cartoonish, don't you think?
Well, maybe, but we saw someone last night.
Why?
Dressed like that.
Is there a problem? Was someone messing with your rooms?
It turned out probably, yes.
We didn't think so at the time. She looked pretty normal, but
yeah, by the way, what's law like in the port here?
I mean, there's law. There's not a lot of bureaucracy here. Often it's preferred to do trial by combat instead. Standard stuff. Murder's illegal unless you have a charter, things like that.
Right, I'm gonna lean in close and whisper. So, there was a murder in one of the rooms.
Well,
One of,
oh.
Our
I'm-
party of 4 is now down to a party of 3. I'm gonna lean back. I hate this island. Sorry, Yen Ben, but this place sucks.
I'm
gonna burn
I'm
this
so
down.
sorry to
Yeah,
hear that.
sorry.
Do you know whether or not it was sanctioned?
I don't think it was sanctioned.
What's the process of being sanctioned? Is there like paperwork next to the body? Because there's just
Sanctions are offered by one of the merchant princes. They're the assassination sanctions are regulated by Jessamine.
Can you spell that, please?
No. Just a second.
I said, please.
Jesssamine. Jessamine.
Hey, I got it right by sounding it out.
In fact, I'm going to give you guys a handout.
Merchant Prince of Assassination.
So
I
does
mean-
that mean, like, before any murder investigation happens, we have to go to this individual and be like, "Hey, is this a thing that happened?" And then if they say yes or no, if they say
Well-
no, we continue the investigation. If they say yes, we just leave it.
We'll report it to the town guard, and they will. If it's not sanctioned, they'll investigate, and if it is sanctioned, then you have my deepest condolences.
Thank you. I guess should we hold off on the investigation until we know if it's sanctioned? I don't know what the law is here. how it
mean,
works.
You'll have until, if you want to investigate, there's no saying you can't get a sanction of your own. I'm not sure. I've never had to get one myself, but if you've been dishonored in some way. Some cultures have dueling, right? Under certain circumstances when one's honor has been besmirched. But here in Chult, we prefer there's other services available.
All right. Then I guess the next question would have to be, who was working around the midnight? I don't know if there's like a fancy way of saying the darkest time of night. Is there like a witching hour?
I feel like there should be. The witching hour, maybe.
The witching hour. Yes, I like that term.
I'll
I'll
ask around and send some staff up in a few moments. I think it was...
especially if outside, since it looks like they popped a window.
We don't have any staff outside, usually.
Okay, then I guess. Alright, well, just let you know that you're missing a window in one of the rooms. Looks like they just pulled the whole frame out.
Alright, well, if they actually damaged property, that's a different issue. I'm really sorry about your friend, but now it's personal.
Well, I mean, we feel like it's personal.
Glad she's caught up with us.
Well,
I'm not there.
yes. It's even assassination. They get a sanction on, like, for example, you couldn't sanction an assassination with the use of explosives because there's too much collateral damage, right? You could, but the most common sanction is with poisons. You have to sanction the method of death as well.
You can't just be throwing fireballs into places, is what you mean?
It's frowned upon, to say the least. So, would you like some time with the scene of the crime before you report it to the town guard?
Yes. I think we would appreciate that.
Yes.
Okay.
We have
You let me know when you're ready, and I'll report it.
Yes. Well, then I think let's go take a look outside, Lila. Let's go see if we can.
Yeah. Like, let's go look at that window and see that side of the wall, see what we can see.
Yes.
Sure. So, the two of you go walking around to the back of the building and out to where the building is, and you see in that alleyway, the window frame that was removed was very gently set on the ground, out leaning against the wall. So not damaged, just moved. Painstakingly, carefully.
That makes me angrier. How dare they be
Wait.
polite?
And why? Why be polite about this window, but not about John? What's that about?
Here you see some bloody footprints.
What kind of
In
footprints?
the alleyway.
Are they dainty
They're
little elf
shaped
feet?
like this.
Like
bird
dinosaur
prints.
feet?
4-clawed?
3 toes and 1 to the back. Like a dinosaur. You're right. And they're small.
I see.
Look like how wide is the alley? Did they climb up the wall of the inn to get in, or do they like jump from the next door over to get on?
Oh,
Is it-
Unclear.
they
Whatever.
got on, but we still have
Unclear. I'm
know.
not
They
totally
got
sure.
there.
You can make an investigation check if you roll really well, I might give you really clear information there. But
could I do like a little nature check also to see about if I can identify that dinosaur foot?
sure, absolutely.
I look at entrance. You look at more feet.
Yeah. Okay, so sorry, Mordai, no new information with that. You can't
Oh, sorry.
determine. And
Yeah,
with
I
that
need to rough
17
my-
nature,
Yep.
you don't believe this to actually be dinosaur feet. They're too
Is it
narrow.
bird?
They're too fingered. It's more bird-like.
Oh, it's a big bird.
They're like bird talon. And that narrows it down, right? If it's
Is
a
it an
humanoid,
Aarakocra?
it could be. But again, if it's an Aarakocra, you think it might be a child.
Then why would a child be climbing up the window and murdering our friend? That seems less likely.
And with that question in mind, I will pop back up to Yenben. What are you looking at in the room up here?
I want to do the rogue thing and say the body and just be brooding and angry and just, but like that.
Sure.
That black, hot anger.
Shrimpy anger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
Of
think,
course.
I think that will fuel Yenben. He like so much emotion. He circles all the way back to eerily calm.
So let's start with the body.
Sure.
The face is covered in a cloth that's tied off.
Okay.
Actually, wait, no. That was an alternate ending. Never mind. That didn't happen.
Oh.
Okay.
Purple smoke.
Nope.
Yeah.
Purple smoke.
Yeah.
So no cloth on the face.
Okay.
On the body, you see multiple blast wounds.
Yep.
3 or 4 of them.
Okay.
I'm gonna say 4. I'm gonna commit to 4.
Okay.
2 of them are that burned look,
Okay.
and 2 of them are not.
Okay.
In kind of a side-by-side sort of situation. They're
Mhm.
Whoever did this, your knowledge in hunting and anatomy would tell you whoever did this intentionally stabbed specific locations.
To cause pain or to cause immediate death?
Immediate death.
Okay.
But yet, I'm not there, so.
I think Yenben is going to
One more
probably-
thing.
Okay. Yep.
While you're looking at the body, there is a small piece of paper with a large black spot. Now,
would I
please.
know? Would I know what that means? Like,
Probably
is-
not, but you can
is
make
this-
a history check.
Is this paper like on the nightstand?
It's
Or,
on
like,
the body.
where- It's on the body, so it's covered in blood.
You know what? No, it's on the nightstand. Sure.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, history. I can do. I can try a history. I'm not a smart man.
That's okay.
16.
Okay. This is a black spot in terms of Treasure Island pirate stuff.
Yeah. So a mark of death.
Exactly.
As a Chelton, is this a like one of those sanctioned deaths? Or is this
Pirates are known
another
for
murder?
operating outside the law.
Fair enough.
But they're not it could go either way, frankly.
Okay. Yenben is going to get real close to the burn marks
Mhm.
and try to smell them.
Okay.
I'm thinking like, is this just like burnt meat or is this sulfurous? Is this some sort of
Right.
Is it chemical fire? Is it because you don't burn something unless you want to cause it pain. But the
So
stab wounds are where are there for
Mhm.
exsanguination. So something about the motive is wrong.
you know what? I'd say I'll say not necessarily for exsanguination.
Okay.
They're also for just sending the body into shock levels of shutdown,
Okay.
right? So there's just a matter of fact that sometimes heat will just mean more damage.
Okay.
Just-
Smelling it though, It smells more like burnt clothes and burnt flesh. As
Okay.
you get close to the fabric, though, I'm gonna say that there is kind of a rotten smell to the bedding.
Yenben has been around goblins a long time. He knows rot. He's been around poisons a lot. He knows poisons.
You know what? I'd say with the amount... your familiarity with the smell of rot tells you that this isn't actually the smell of rot. It's the smell of something... It reminds you of something that likes to spend time with rot.
Okay.
It's unclear. I'll have you make... Go ahead and make a nature check. This one's going to be a high DC, though.
All these intelligence checks. Nature, you said, right?
Nature, yeah.
Okay. Nat 20.
In a flash of inspiration, it dawns on you. The things that hang around dead bodies that could have... You realize these blankets are soaked in the same paralyzing toxin that Mordai's blankets were covered in. That's why John couldn't... That's why John was dealt with before he had the chance to respond. This thick, viscous fluid is carrion crawler mucus.
Okay. Interesting. And I think he's gonna do I'm not sure what else I can pull from the body there. Well, okay, I guess are the blankets still wrapped around John?
They were never wrapped around John. He's laying on top of the blankets.
He's laying on top of them. Okay.
But
with that natural 20 nature check, I'm willing to say that, to tell you that you know that carrion crawler mucus paralyzes on contact.
Okay.
He doesn't need to be wrapped up in it for it to fuck him up.
Okay. Okay. I think without touching the blankets, I'm going to roll John up a little bit just to see if there's anything behind him.
Let me double check one thing. That is a really good point. And I just want to make sure that I've got
kind
this.
of like underneath, behind,
Yeah.
underneath.
Yeah.
Okay, so the inside the bed are two long penetrating burn marks.
Okay. Like all the way through, do they match the ones on the other side?
Whatever was used here, it seems that the branding iron or whatever was doing the burning was a longer tool than the other.
Okay.
And these burn marks are tiny and narrow, whereas the other stab wounds are a lot more like... They're a much longer wound, but still very deep. Still clearly a stab.
Okay.
So dagger and fire rapier.
Are they thinner at his back or at his front?
Thinner? What do you mean?
So most
Are
long,
which thinner?
the burn marks or the penetrating burn wounds. So one,
they go like this?
do they match up front to back? Basically,
I'd
I'm
say
asking, did they stab him in his back while he was sleeping?
They stabbed him in his front while he was sleeping.
Okay.
He was face up.
Yeah. Okay. Because I was just thinking if someone's hiding under the bed and goes, "Sink," That would be terrifying.
Good question, though. Good question. No, it seems that they stabbed him while he was laying on the bed, paralyzed by the poison. They came down on him. And Jay, I'm going to give it to you. You guessed perfectly. It is a flame-tongue rapier and a dagger.
Okay.
I'm not there, but we'll get that information in about 10 minutes.
Exactly.
I just had to get it out of my mouth before I forgot it.
Speaking of who's not there, I'm going to cut back to you two, actually. You've seen all of this stuff, and now the two of you suddenly hear in the garbage and debris a rustling.
Okay. Can we investigate said rustling?
Absolutely. You approach it, it shakes, it crumples, and as if it hears you approaching, leaps out and grabs your ankle. Lila, it is Retithris.
And so I guess at first I don't realize what it is, and then I kind of pick up my leg and I see it's Retithris, and I'm gonna pick him up off of my leg and hold him up.
He's shaking.
We have a chihuahua.
Yeah. Except it's an undead hand.
And he kind of
Hey,
just like
buddy.
He's just trying to grab onto whatever he can get a hold of. He's in your hand. He's gonna just try to like clasp your hand and just try to be close.
Yeah. Okay, so maybe I can like put him in the crook of my arm so that he can kind of lay there
Yeah.
and I can talk to him.
What do you say to him?
Well, I guess the first thing I'm gonna he seems pretty upset. So the first thing I'm gonna do is try to calm him down and tell him that Mordai and I are both here now. Yenben's here too. I see you must have escaped the window before when everything went down.
So you receive almost a telepathic message in a way that says it reflects feelings of guilt, remorse, shame, and the sensation of falling.
Okay. Can I respond to this telepathic message in
How would you like?
Well, I immediately feel compassion towards his guilt and his shame.
Also, Jay, you do not gain any of these sensations.
Okay. And I'm gonna pick him up and hold him in my hands and say I know I'm really sorry, buddy. We just woke up and learned what happened too. You escaped. Can you tell me anything about what happened?
From the crook of your arm, he tries to like climb up your shoulder and is moving towards your face, and it's like kind of shyly like, can I touch
Yeah.
you?
Oh, okay. I'm just like,
So he goes
give him
like,
a little pet.
and then he's trained, and then he does this. As you
Okay.
close your eyes, and he's just grabbing your face like this, you suddenly are able to see through him.
Oh, okay.
The same
So
way John used to.
Okay, this is all right. I'm very intrigued, but also very unnerved. So I'm like, trying to stay with this.
Trying to communicate to you.
Right, I'm trying to remain open.
He saw someone. He saw the window come down.
Okay.
saw John flop on the bed and stop moving. Then
Okay.
came into the window, and Retithorus attacked him.
Oh, good job, buddy.
But Retithorus is very weak, and the guy took Retithorus and threw him out the window into the garbage.
Oh. You did
And
you did the right thing. Like you tried. It wasn't your fault.
whoever it was had a beak.
Oh, they had a beak.
Retithorus
Oh.
doesn't really see in color, so he can't really tell you much more than that. But it was a long beak.
Okay, so bird feet and a beak. Is that Kenku? Maybe we're looking
Could be.
for a Kenku.
Could be. And a cloak.
Oh.
They had a cloak.
Oh, well, I mean, if you're sneaking around at night, seems like the thing to do.
Right?
Okay. Oh my gosh. Am I still being, like, face sucked?
I think
by
at that
this
point he'll...
hand starfish?
only if you want to be.
No, thank you, buddy.
He stinks, I'll be honest. He's been decaying for a long time. It's not a pleasant smell.
We'll get you a bath, man. Like, maybe we can get you, like, I don't know.
Some of the open sores or something.
Something. Maybe we could do a little healing something. I know it doesn't always affect undead or constructs, but we'll see what
There's
we
a
can
little bit of bone sticking out from his wrist.
do. That looks very
Anyway.
uncomfortable.
He kind of shrugs. Like, I don't...
However, a hand shrugs.
He doesn't notice it, right?
Well, I mean,
Cool.
probably not since he was detached from his person.
Yeah. So, is there anything else you guys are going to look at in the alley?
I think, I don't know if it was discussed, but the direction of the blood footprints and how far
Yeah.
they go.
I'm going to say there's only one entrance and exit to the alley. So, they kind of go out into the street, but it doesn't really... The trail of blood fades before they... before it gives you any indication other than just out of the alley.
Okay. Like, not even like a left or a right? It just disappeared before then?
No, just disappears.
What are the other buildings around the area? Something that might have been open or active during midnight? Somebody who might have saw something? Another inn?
Nothing would have been active at the time. Across the street is the Thundering Lizard. They tend to be raucous, but this alley kind of like, it's sort of closed off, and the alley goes away from the Thundering Lizard, so I don't know. That would be the only one that would have too much activity that's nearby. It's just not in a position that it would really be valuable.
Okay. Well, I don't know if Lila, I don't know if we're to touch the window or just leave it for the investigation. So it looks like it's put up nicely. No one's gonna kick it over. No one's walking down this alleyway, so we'll just leave it there. Is there anything else we can figure out? So they probably climbed up, did the murder, come back down, and then leave.
So, can I look at the wall and see if I see any scratches, any tool marks, anything like that?
Sure, roll investigation.
You read my mind there, Galadrimmon.
Yeah. So, I'm gonna say, you don't see any significant damage to the wall. However they got up to the window, they did not do it by driving any pythons or anything into the wall.
Okay. And I don't see, like, do I see, like, any feathers laying about or any little foot scrapings or anything?
Yes. You see a singular, long, black feather.
Well, I'm gonna pick that up and put it in a pouch. I'm gonna tuck it in my...
Add it
In
to
my
your
jacket.
inventory. Murder feather.
Okay. Murder feather.
Murder.
All right.
I have collected a murder feather.
I think Yenben's next step is to go
I-
to the
I
window and
kind
check
of-
the next thing.
Yeah, I'd kind of like to get everybody into the same room again soon, if we can. Are you guys done with the alley?
I think
I think so.
Well,
At least for now.
they're just below the window, right?
Yeah.
Yenben's like leaning out the window. Would y'all find?
A murder feather.
and Retithorus. Retithorus is
Also, yes.
okay-ish.
All right.
He's not very happy, understandably.
Well, come on up here and we'll reconnoiter.
Okay.
And as they are on their way back up, he starts feeling the windows and the. I assume there's like a roof past the window.
Room above?
Roof
Like,
above.
what do you mean?
But like, like gabled windows where they kind of come out into the side of the roof, but the roof, like the eaves trough, is below the window, or is this like flat wall?
Flat wall.
Okay. Then yeah, he's gonna look for tool marks in the flat wall.
You
'Cause
don't see any, but you do see like a bit of a bloody footprint on the windowsill leading out. And you know what? Since there's bloody footprints on the ground, you would also see bloody footprints on the wall.
That's fair.
They are hoppy.
Hoppy.
Whoever came down, there are 2 footprints side by side, about a long distance in between, and then another 2 footprints side by side, and then
Okay.
another, and then the ground.
Okay. What about above? Because we're on the top floor, right?
There's only 2 stories, so.
And there, I presume there's like an eave
Mhm.
above the window.
Yep.
What about? Is there any tool marks or damage there, or to the eaves trough, or anything like that, where they would have affixed a grappling hook or some such?
Yep. At the top, you see that there is a little bit of a dent in the eave, right above the window.
Okay.
So I couldn't see it from the outside, but he can see it from the inside.
From
You
up
didn't look
high.
up. You didn't look
Oh.
up.
I just looked at the wall.
You
Okay.
looked at the wall, not at the roof.
Fair enough.
I'm telling you, I'm not basing it off perception checks. It's just where you look.
Mm.
I mean, I did learn things, so I'm not mad at it.
Um,
Just curious.
I think Yanben will then go back to the body and see if John was robbed.
Yeah.
No,
Okay. No.
he had all of his possessions.
Okay, so that to me says that he kind of. I'm assuming we're upstairs now. Are we upstairs? Okay.
Yeah, you guys can
So-
all gather up.
So he still has all his stuff, so that suggests to me that it's not a monetary debt.
It's not a mugging. It's not
It's
a
not a
robbery,
mugging.
burglary.
It's for some other reason. Sounds like, I mean, what pisses somebody off enough that they're going to murder you but not take your stuff? And also leave a weird note.
Yeah, I show the black spot to Lila and Mordai, and give them the full rundown of everything I've come across.
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll touch
So
base.
some of the biggest information, like identifying information, you guys have gotten a lot, like the black feather, the beak, the footprints, the
Yeah.
flame tongue rapier, and the dagger.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Those are very identifying. In terms of determining what happened, the most important stuff is stab wounds, the poison
Yeah.
that was used against both John and Mordai.
But against both of them, why Mordai and not Yenben and I?
I set the alarm, and they saw me do it because there's a whole ritual thing.
Well,
But Jay, how did they know that you cast the alarm?
I assume they saw me because it's 10 minutes per room, so
Who
I'm
did?
there for 40 minutes. The French maid. We already know she's
So-
part of it.
yeah, but that means it's a coordinated attack.
Well, this whole thing suggests to me that it's planned and professional.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they knew their toxins. They had to handle it well enough to not paralyze themselves in the process of
Correct.
doing this. They knew how to get in. They got the window out.
Mm-hmm. And how many people knew we were staying here tonight?
Us and the dad.
The dad? John's dad?
There's no people who knew, unless we were being followed.
John was talking to his papa, was he?
Yep, for a long time. Although, that was literally while we were here. So, unless there's some precognition going on.
It was while you guys were organizing your room.
Yeah. But,
right?
I mean,
so it wasn't...
Yeah, but it was one of those things that we were... John's dad does know, but it seems almost... It seems weird if, he said it or if one of his enemies set it up. It was very quick for the whole setup. Like, they set it up yesterday.
Take it from someone who is trained to strike and leave no witnesses. Doesn't take much.
And
there's a knock on the door. Excuse me? Hello?
Yeah.
I have a delivery for, John Jaciel.
Do you want to just... Who's it from?
It's a package. It's from his mother.
I'll go and open the door a little bit, take a peek.
There's a small box, like a jewelry box, and it's Kaya, the proprietor of the place, who's here. Says, I have to deliver it to the room. It's sort of my job.
All right, I can take that.
There's this little box and a note.
I can grab that from you.
Well, if she's the owner, she may as well know.
Well,
she'll know sooner or later anyway.
Says Yenben from behind the closed door, out of sight of this woman.
You guys already told me that there was murder. I'm just waiting until you guys are done before reporting it to the town guard.
Oh, okay. You're talking to the same person. I didn't realize they were the same person.
Same person. It's okay. It's okay. You weren't there for that.
That's also valid.
So, yeah. So you have this box. There's the box is sealed with ribbon, but it's a nice ornate little wooden jewelry box, and it is a note with the seal of John Jaciel's house.
Okay. I guess,
addressed to my dear sweet son.
Forgive my paranoia, guys, but should we investigate this package before we open it?
Pass it here.
Well, I'll that kind of makes sense. So I'll pass it to the people who knows what's going on.
Okay, I will assist Yenben in his investigation because I'm pretty sure.
So you want to investigate without opening it right now?
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, and while they're doing that, can I go back to my room and try to wrap up the bedsheet that I was paralyzed in?
I already threw it in a corner.
Yeah, so it's in the corner, but I want to wrap it up safely and put it in the bag of holding for later.
Ah, smart.
Yeah. What are you using to do this?
It's a good question.
Or you know what? You didn't specify. I've given you plenty of warning. Make a Constitution saving throw, please.
Okay. I was gonna grab any the under bed sheets
to fold over it.
Yeah, to wrap that in that. I don't know, but I don't know how goopy it is.
I think you'll make this though. So you touch it, you manage to into the bag of holding before you react too badly, but you're definitely feeling like the tension back in your fingers again, the stiffness of, and getting the feeling that this needs to be handled with care.
Yes, but we have it. I don't know how long it lasts, but I wanted that just in case. And back to the
You
investigation.
may add to your bag of holding a paralytic cloth. DC 13.
That might come in handy sometime. Said no one ever.
Back to the plot.
Okay, so yeah, you guys are investigating the box and the letter without opening them.
So far, yes.
The box is intricately carved. There is a ribbon around it to sort of just kind of show that it hasn't been tampered with during delivery, and also to aid in keeping it sealed. But it also has a latch of its own. The jewelry box is not locked.
Okay.
It seems almost like a display case kind of thing.
Well, Lila, what do you think?
There really isn't much more to say about the box from the outside.
Well, I feel weird about it, but I feel like we should open it. What do you think? Not that
Also,
I want
the letter's
to,
a letter. The letter doesn't show any signs of damage. So.
Hold it up to the light. It's just paper.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, maybe we also look at the letter and see what his mom has
You know
to
what?
say. If there's...
In the letter, when you hold it up to the light, you also see the silhouette of a key.
Oh, look, they go together. All right, let's try the letter first here. You do the letter. I'll stand 10, 15 feet away and open this box.
in case of exploding box.
Yep.
Fair enough.
So who is opening the letter?
That's moi.
You open the letter. The key is in the folds of the letter. You catch it with no issue. It seems compatible with the jewelry box. Within the letter, you see it reads, "It is from John's mother." Now I gotta look up her name again. I should have had this ready. Got it here. I got it here. I can't remember. It's okay. So it's from his mother, and it says, as my last will and testament, I hope I leave this to you, my son, to aid you in your journeys. Enclosed in the jewelry box below is what is known as a periaptive wound closure. So that should you fall in the jungles, you may be revived by your companions. For anyone who doesn't know, a periaptive wound closure is a pretty common magic item. Not super common, but reasonably. And if someone is brought to 0 hit points, they immediately stabilize while wearing this.
Okay.
Unfortunately, delivered a day late.
Yeah. Well, and we would need more than one, I presume. If he has 4 stab wounds, need. Unless you can.
You guys are level 5. You have a lot of hit points, okay?
I don't know.
I rolled damage for this. I ran this encounter.
Oh, okay.
I did. So, like, I'm giving you the evidence of what actually happened.
All right.
I see.
Neat. Is Lila reading this letter out loud?
Yeah, I'm sort of like mumbling out loud to myself so that Yinben can kind of hear if he wants.
I think.
All right, I mean, this is a nice item, but there's nothing spooky in here.
Hell.
I wonder what the key's for. I don't know what the key is for. Well, I guess it's for the box, but...
Stands 15 feet away, breaks the wax seal, braces,
The
slides the ribbon
ribbon?
off. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And
Opens the
inside
thing.
is a beautiful red and blue necklace with a chain.
Well, hell.
Well, it didn't solve our mystery.
No, but the irony ain't lost on me.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch. Well, we'll talk about who gets this later, I guess.
Yeah.
Grabs it, puts it in one of his big coat pockets. For now.
Well, it might be on an as needed basis.
It requires attunement, so you'd have to switch it out on a longer short rest or something like that.
I see.
I'll probably start wearing this later, because you get too mad to die. Mordai's got the party armor. No, wait. We give it to Mordai, because I got Barbara's cocoon thingy.
That's right.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And I
You
am
basically
too
all
mad to die.
to hit. You guys basically all have one way of hitting 0 hit points for free.
Yeah. Yep.
If you count
Technically,
wild
I
shape,
have a couple.
yeah, I was gonna say if you count wild shape, Galadrimmon has like 6. So, all right. So with that, I think we should take a quick break, and then we can come back and continue.
Sounds great.
So, and welcome back. And so the investigation continues. So we are sitting here in John J. Seal's bedroom, and we just received the periapt of wound closure from his mother.
Yes.
As her last will and testament.
Now, I believe you guys would know that John J. Seal's mother was sick from the death curse.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
that was
Right.
brought up.
And
Yeah, he
so
did say that.
it is now. It appears clear that she didn't make it.
Or won't very soon.
I think Yenben stalks back into John's room and just starts going through all of the drawers and chests and everything else for some other kind of clue. Cautiously.
Yeah.
But
Drawers and
purposefully.
chests seemed unchanged. Some of it has some of John's stuff in it. Some of them are left empty. But unclear.
And then checks
guess-
under the bed.
I guess I'll start packing up John's stuff. Whatever his
As you
magic
look
book.
under the bed, you are attacked by dust bunnies.
I use the ultimate attack, sneeze, and push them away.
While
right
this
there
is
yet, babe?
happening, Lila doesn't really. I don't know. She doesn't really feel at home, and I don't really feel at home in investigating the way that Yenben does. But I'm wondering about. There's just something about John where he seems so casual about everything, and also managed to tell you very little while saying very many words.
You did that a lot. Yep.
And this situation is making me wonder if maybe there was a reason for that. Like maybe it was more intentional than he let on, and he was not. Like, did he ever say anything about, I don't know, suspicious activities? Did he get himself into something? Someone real mad because he broke a deal? Like,
Nothing immediately comes to mind.
Not so much more than the rest of us. We only decided on this place. What? 20 minutes before we got in here?
pretty much. I mean, we certainly didn't have reservations. Maybe
go
we
back-
should have had reservations.
Maybe. I go back to the window. And I look for any vantage points that would watch the door of this inn.
So you go to the outside door of the inn and look out?
Yeah, sure, I guess I would have to. For any of those like adjacent rooftops or vantage points that would kind of give you a view of either the Thundering Lizard or the Thundering Lizard and this place.
I mean, you see half a dozen potential ones, right? I don't know. Like, any window on that street would be able to see this door. You mean the door going into the main room of the tavern? Like the lobby?
Yeah, basically, I'm wondering if we were watched and had been followed for a while, or if this was John's dad told on us and put a contract and a hit out. Is this we've been being watched for a while? Because we haven't fucked with any pirates yet, as far as we know.
Well, yeah, So, but what would be John's dad's motive to put a hit out on us?
Well, it's not us.
Well, his own son?
Not us. It was his own son. John talked about how his father was not terribly kind or forgiving.
Wow, but that's
It's a
taking
big
unforgiving to right into active aggression.
Well,
I mean, I'm not trying to defend
Yeah.
him. I don't know him, but that seems. I would not expect that from a man of means. who
I'm
can-
not. I'm not saying it's the most likely or the only explanation. I'm just saying it's the simplest one, because he's the only one who knew we was here. Oh, except, did we tell Syndra we were going here?
Probably
I don't
not.
think so.
I don't think so.
I don't think it was decided that because it was after Syndra we had to deal with dinosaur stuff right away.
The
So
last inn that Syndra knew you were staying at before was the Thundering Lizard. This time you changed your minds to go to Kaya's House of Repose.
Yeah, we did it like right at the end, like right before we got here too.
Yeah, I think we just wanted a massage and a clean bed. So
And we got neither.
decidedly unclean bed.
Yeah.
So you guys
Okay.
would remember that John J. Seal's father's name is Lord Crimson J. Seal,
Right.
and his mother is Lady T. J. Seal. And that is what it says on the letter.
The Crimson
Is Lady
Crimson
T's.
Tide. His dad's first name is Crimson, and his mom's name begins with a T. Crimson
No,
Tide.
his mother's name is T. T-E-E. Lady T. J. Seal.
I don't know.
Well, we have one big clue. This black spot belongs to pirates. It's a
Right,
pirate mark of death.
right.
So where the hell do we find pirates in Port Nyanzaru?
probably the prince of the sanctioning of assassinations, whatever her name was. So do we go to her or Yenben? When you're hunting something, what's the best way to find that hunter? Where they came from or where they were going after the hunt? Because we can try to follow the footsteps, is you're good at that, or we could roof and see where they came from.
You want to hunt something easy, you go to where it gets water. Where it lets its guard down.
Is that after or before it eats?
Doesn't matter. It's thirsty.
It has to. Everything has to drink,
And where
So-
does
whether
a
you eat
pirate
or not.
drink?
So, I do say, let's go to this alleyway
Oh,
and let's see if I can pick up a trail.
yes, but before that, what do we do with John? Do we let the inn take care of it? Is there like a pyre thing? What do we do? What do we do with this?
I mean, this is
Yeah.
our friend's body we were talking about.
Yeah.
Were this anyone else, I'd say we bury him how we should. In the dirt of this jungle. However, given that he is John, and he probably has one of them family crypts and shit and been buried with generations of his forebears, his parents probably do want his body back.
Yes, and they can certainly afford to have it sent, but also the guard might want to see his body and inspect it
Mm-hmm.
once it's reported, and we can't stop that, but we also can't stand around.
We can't stop it, but we can beat him to the punch. So I say we report it. We let Miss Kaya do her job.
Now, you're all okay with sticking around and answering some questions for the guard, right?
Decidedly not. Thank you.
And they leave, and they run away. No, wait, please.
Well, we can. Still
Good luck,
stick around.
adventurers.
I said we can still
We-
stick around while you decide whether the footprints went left or right. Yenben.
Yes, we could
We don't
stick
know.
around while we decide whether the footprints go left or right. I was mostly making a joke.
I mean,
It's
you
up
can
to you guys.
decide if it's true or not.
I would also like to point out we are on a bit of a time crunch because
that's
Tweedledee and
just
Tweedledumbass are in the fighting pits in like 45 minutes.
Well,
So we have to choose between a dead friend or live ones.
And we're supposed to get a prophecy by about 9 a.m. This is
Okay,
all
we
happening
need to
before
go.
breakfast.
Oh,
So
We have a
need to-
packed schedule.
This has been a very eventful morning for all of you.
do we?
And we only have 10 minutes left in session.
Do we? Oh, do we? At this point,
I go to the tracks. To the footprint.
Yeah, let's go to the tracks. Let's see
And
what.
Okay.
I'm gonna try and,
And
go
if the
full
guards get here quick
Aragorn.
enough, then the guards get here quick enough.
There you go. If they get here quick enough, great. If not,
Yep.
have them talk to Syndra Sylvain.
And I'm gonna
we
say
can talk to her.
I'm gonna say the Ferul and Gondolo is not like first thing in the morning. It's sometime in the
Okay,
afternoon.
good.
So you have
Okay, good.
time,
Okay, excellent.
right? It's not an
We have a couple
immediate
of
concern.
stops.
And they're going to the Executioner's Run.
That's it. Yes. Okay, so I go look at those footprints, and I'm gonna go full like that scene in the Lord of the Rings where like Aragorn is looking at blades of grass and other things.
Mhm.
Yenben is gonna go full savant mode as best as he can. I hope.
You're
Roll a
on
survival
doors.
check. Roll a survival check with disadvantage.
Disadvantage. Oh no.
Urban setting, lots of foot traffic.
Fair enough. Oh, that's not great. That's only a 14.
That's a 24 total.
It rolled. That's
it added
weird.
2d20. Yep.
It added
No.
them together.
You rolled a 14, right?
I rolled a 14.
Oh, okay.
I rolled a 4 plus 10 and a 13.
Okay, so you get a 4 plus 10 is 14.
Yeah.
That's weird. Okay. So
Yeah, I don't know why
14.
that's odd. Anyways.
It's only like it's to the left.
You're
really.
not really sure. I will say that you roll high enough to investigate clearly that at the end of the alley, then this person started covering their tracks. You can see the intent.
Oh, there's
Why did they
some
start covering there though, as opposed to at the window? Then they wanted to be seen.
Yeah, when you kill something, you have to let someone know it wasn't an accident.
So that sounds like we need to go see the Prince of Assassinations.
And maybe any bars that birds hang out in.
Well, when you talk about where did they drink, are you talking about liquor? Are you talking about water? Or are you talking about sustenance? Where's their bread and
Well,
butter?
You
Right?
can get all three in a tavern.
What's a pirate's bread and butter?
Rum. Yo ho, yo ho. Anyways, I think what I might ask is Miss Kaya if there are any houses of ill repute that might serve pirates.
None
Any...
in Port Nine Zaru. The pirates in Port Nine Zaru are very, they disrupt trade, and that's how the merchant princes who are in power get their power, right? So, no, anybody who's even insinuated to be connected with pirates is interrogated to the nth degree. There's very little patience for them here.
Yeah, but were you to suggest a place where the rats go? Maybe not pirates, but maybe somewhere
If there is a place that pirates go in town, I wouldn't know it. Smugglers and contraband would be in Malar's throat.
Would be what now? Who?
Malar's throat. It's outside of the city. It's kind of the city's slums.
Okay.
You can find all kinds of undesirables there. Might be able to find a source for that poison. Or no, she wouldn't know about the poison. Never mind. You guys didn't share anything about the crab seed.
No, we're waiting for the guards, I guess.
Sorry, what was the name of that area?
Malar's throat.
Malar's throat. Okay. Can't spell.
I think we're done with this map. I can take you guys back over to the Port Nine Zaru map and show you where it is.
So, friends. Do we wait for the town guard?
Well, I think we might. It'll help us get in the direction of the Prince of Assassinations because they have a official thing that we should probably go to, and they can point us in the right direction. And besides, we still actually haven't eaten breakfast, so we can wait for the guards while we eat.
There are guards all up and down the street. Right, so you guys say the word, and we'll bring the guards in, and they'll be here and ready to interrogate.
Interrogate is such an aggressive word. What nice
Question?
Questions. Yes, there. That fills me with much more joy than interrogate.
I mean, are we planning to stay for that, or are we planning to hit the bricks?
Well,
you guys didn't kill your friend, right?
No, we did not.
No.
You swear?
This is true.
Cross my heart.
Because you guys will be the first suspects.
Leans over to Lila, but they are questioning us about a few other things every time we seem to stop and turn around.
Well, but
being an adventurer draws a lot of attention.
Yeah.
Being an adventurer draws a lot of attention.
Yeah, we seem to get too much of that. And Yenben doesn't like attention.
Yeah.
So Yenben is more than happy to fade into the crowd and go look for this person.
Okay.
Outside the rules.
Let's get out of here. I'm not any more thrilled about talking to cops.
I'll give you guys a 10-minute head start before I call the guards. Fair?
Appreciate
Jay,
it.
does Mordai agree with that? I know you're trying to go by the book, but
Mordai is gonna follow. You both have much more experience than Aye, so I'm
How
gonna follow
how
you.
would you guys feel if you just left a written statement that I can give to the guards?
That would be okay.
I would be okay with that.
Okay, let's do that. I'll collect written statements. You can tell me what happened, uh, what you guys found in your investigation. Sign it, and I'll
Right.
pass it on to the guards when they come.
That'd be appreciated. Exposition.
Yeah. Great. So, main places that you were talking about going to were either the Executioner's Run or for the Prophecy.
Well,
yeah.
if we have a little time on the run yet. Like, is that supposed to start?
Hours from now.
Okay.
Okay, well then let's go to the prophecy.
And as you approach the Temple of Savras, let me just switch it up here. As we approach the Temple of Savras, Grandfather Zitembe is waiting outside, tapping his foot, searching the crowd.
7:34.
I'd say like it was probably 9 when you guys got up. It's closer to 10 now.
Okay, so we are late then.
I don't think you're that late.
Okay.
I'll say you guys aren't that late. He looks like he's been standing here a while.
Is he impatient or anxious? Can I roll insight?
How about you go
I'll
talk to him?
assist with this roll.
How about go talk to him and find out?
Fine.
Not everything needs to be rolled for.
But I
And
wanna.
and I
Let me
assume-
roll the math rocks.
And I assume since I feel like we're in a rush, so we're not dawdily walking. We're kind of
Yeah,
power walking.
totally.
Yeah.
Maybe if there's a clear space in the morning traffic, hop into a little jog.
Of course.
Okay,
Grab
so we
a
appro-
breakfast taco on your way over.
Absolutely.
So we approach Grandpappy Crazy Pants.
Ah, good, you're here. I've been seeing things just for you. Come, come. I've been waiting.
Oh god, grandfather's seeing things again. All right.
Well, do tell. What have you been seeing?
So, you asked me about that hag lady,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
That's what you wanted to know about? That's what you wanted to find out? Well, fuck all of you.
I'm sorry?
That damn hag led me to the same place, and I couldn't even. This time I decided I was gonna look closer, and I couldn't. It stopped me. Whoever this hag is that cursed you is tied to this curse.
Oh, son of a bitch.
Or she's at the center of it. That's all I know.
Tied to. Wait, which curse? We're dealing with multiple curses right
The
now.
death curse.
Fuck.
I looked into the death curse, I consulted the guides, and it brought me to that valley city full of snakes surrounded by cliffs. And then I focus on this hag lady, and took me to the same place. This time I decided to peer deeper, and I encountered a barrier. Something stopped me from looking into that place.
You
What
didn't happen to run
place?
across a bugbear in your dreaming, did you?
I was awake.
Okay, never mind.
I consulted the guides, the spirits. Why, would you like me to consult the guides on your bugbear friend?
Nah, you'd have a hard time finding him. Hell, this rate
Probably
death
would.
has a hard time finding him. Or, God's willing.
But this hag is bad news. I feel like we knew that to start with, but now we know. And there's some connection.
So, these guides, they took you to the exact same spot. Describe it to me, please.
An old, forgotten city filled with snakes and surrounded by cliffs. With a dark obelisk at its door. Something old and forgotten dwells there.
Is there any sense of magic or besides the barrier?
That's all I got, lady.
Okay.
All right. Well, I mean,
Like,
There,
I got shunted out of the vision. So,
you said filled with snakes. Living
Yeah.
snakes, dead snakes, snake-like things.
snakes. Lots,
Snake.
all kinds, all of them. All the snakes. So many snakes.
But alive. Regular
Like
old jungle
squirming
snake.
around, biting stuff.
Lots of biting, lots of snakes, lots of living ones, lots of dead
Right.
ones. It was a whole thing.
Yeah, indeed.
Yenman looks at Lila and Mordai. This is way too many mysteries for my brain to handle all at once.
It's very mysterious. Okay, so but the thing is that the hag is connected to the death curse.
Yeah.
Maybe she's the one casting it. I don't know. But I don't think even a night hag could do that themselves.
Maybe she's helping whatever's casting it.
Well, I mean,
then-
hags do like their covens.
Yeah.
Which just begs the question, is she the weakest or the most powerful in that coven?
Well, I'm not sure if it matters. They're all in a coven. They're all gonna be more powerful
Yeah.
together than separate.
Yeah.
Yeah, but just of the question of
Grandfather.
degree of what we're dealing with.
As the people who are likely going to have to fight them, it matters.
Well, we've got at least 3 of them, probably as powerful as this one, maybe in league with something else, and who knows why they decided to pick me. I'm not anybody.
Yeah, I couldn't find that. I'm sorry. I couldn't read her mind in the visions.
Well, no. I mean, she...
But you have a location. If you're looking to deal with her.
We have something.
Yeah,
Now,
more than we had.
Cliffs and snakes.
hey Lila.
Oh, and this place is definitely in the south of Chult. But that I couldn't tell that much more. I couldn't give a
Okay.
more detailed location than that.
Well, that cuts out at least half of it, so thanks.
Well, surrounded by cliffs, big obelisk.
I mean, I'm sure it'll stand out when we get there.
Weirdly, snakes and old forgotten city is the part that doesn't rule this out the most.
Right.
There are a few of them around.
Yeah, throw a stick.
Pretty much.
So, Lila, you saying you're a nobody,
I mean, I'm not...
well, hang on.
I mean,
You
just
ain't.
because you haven't made a name for yourself yet doesn't mean you're no.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you, everyone. I didn't mean that in the sense of like I have no self-esteem. I mean that in the sense of like I don't have any special position. I don't have any other connections to the death curse any more than any regular person would.
Perhaps not. But isn't your father a very powerful druid? And ain't the forces of nature kind of opposed to the forces of death?
Well, I mean, death is a necessary part of the cycle. We're opposed to things getting
Undeathness?
like undeath as a as a thing is kind of a perversion of death. It doesn't allow things to return back to the way they're supposed to do, which is part of why this death curse is a problem. It's because it perverts the cycle. But
Right.
I mean he is a powerful druid, sure, but do you think that has anything to do with it?
I will not underestimate the pettiness of some of the darker creatures in that jungle. However,
I mean, I'm fair.
I mean, witches be witches. Sometimes it's just a random act of violence, too.
and it could be that. Wrong place, wrong time.
Maybe.
You were available and they liked you.
The other
Ew.
question is
I seconded, frankly. Very ew.
fair. Yeah. The other question is, has your father ever dealt with a hag?
I don't know. Do I roll a history for that?
It's your backstory. If your father has dealt with a hag, do you feel like they would have told you? I've kind of been under the impression that your father would be more likely to try to shelter you from the darker things than
I mean, yeah, I
to an
mean,
extent.
yeah, probably.
Fair.
No, I don't think unless it was brought up by someone else. Like if someone else brought it up in public, he wouldn't deny it, but he wouldn't probably tell me on his own. So,
Right.
So I don't think so. But that doesn't, or maybe he just thought it was over, right? Like he thought he, if he did defeat a hag, or thought he defeated a hag, and anyway.
Because I consulted my mentor, and he didn't have a whole lot of nice things to say, but that's just how he says hello.
Well, I mean, who has nice things to say about hags? Or did he just not have nice things to say about
Me, generally, but yes, also the hag.
Well, that's rude of him.
He's cuddlier when you get to know him. He's like a prickly pear. You get used to it.
Theoretically, you could ask your father somehow. Actually, you don't have Animal Messenger or anything yet, do you? So
that was going to be Yenben's next suggestion, so we'll just say Yenben says that.
I do technically. I can cast it, I believe.
Okay.
It's a second level spell.
Yeah.
So you might be able to ask him tomorrow if you wanted to.
So maybe a thing to keep in mind.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. But anyway, so maybe tomorrow we could do that. Yeah. I don't know. Any further thoughts on this, Yenben? I'm kind of.
Yeah, I got nothing else. What about you, Mordai?
Nothing immediately comes to mind. From my understanding, looks like Night Hag is an issue, but we also have higher things on the list of importance. But now that we know if we come across Black Obelisk City, old place, we know to be careful because there's hags in there.
Right. Well, hag at the very least, but where you find one.
Well,
there's usually two more.
If they're the cause of this death curse, I guarantee it's a coven, which means 3.
At the very least.
Yes.
That's one each.
What terrifies me is, well, grandfather, is a coven even strong enough to do this? This is
not
worldwide.
Even sure. It would have to be one hell of a coven.
And why
or
this?
Maybe the right
now?
spell or the right incantation or ritual. I'm not sure. It's a persistent effect. Is the weirdest thing, right?
Covens make pacts with other covens, or are they just kind of a solo thing? I don't know how witches work.
I know. I feel like they argue so much amongst themselves that it might be difficult for them
If-
to sustain that kind of long-term
Yeah.
planning.
Yeah, I mean, even a regular coven, hags hate nothing more than each other. So, you know, if you get 3 of them together, they don't normally stick together for very long, or if they do, then, you know, it's
So then,
It's
what
tricky.
could be strong enough to keep a coven of hags together this long?
Something
well,
else really powerful?
something they hate, something they fear, or
something so much more powerful than them that they are bound to it.
yeah.
Nah, that couldn't be it.
I'm not a big fan of any of those 3 things being true.
Yeah, no.
I don't know which of them might be. But...
I'm somehow full of more information and dread.
The one thing that hags love is power, so that can keep a coven together for a significant amount of time.
Fair.
I would think. I'm no expert on covens. I'm personally like, let witches be witches over there. Personally, that's more or less where I'm coming from.
I suppose therein lies the other investigative question. Who on this God's forsaken continent is an expert in covens of hags?
I can consult the guides.
Well,
25 gold, please.
Oh, fuck.
I was gonna say we don't. Is that information we need? I don't want to pull you away from your hard other work.
Well, I mean, we can. Can we take a rain check on that and maybe come back and see you later on that one?
We also have a few other contacts we can chat with. Perhaps
all right.
Today.
But when no other answers are found, the guides prevail.
And we appreciate them and you, grandfather.
Though apparently they just keep giving the same fucking answer. They're real hung up on this snake place.
Yeah, any other times when they've done that?
Never before the death curse. Now it's, you know... Well, no, not all the time, but like... They only answer with it when it's relevant, but it seems very relevant to a lot of things lately. Namely...
Like what kinds of things?
Okay, it seems really relevant to 2 questions I've gotten recently.
Okay, I was like, if there are other things,
it's
Father,
it's if I had a nickel every time that sent me to this goddamn Snake City, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but goddamn, it's weird that it happened twice.
Grandfather, what's a nickel?
Indeed.
It's half copper, half silver. Leave me alone.
Okay, fair enough.
All right, we can yes.
It's a nickel piece instead of an electrum piece. An electrum piece is silver to gold, but nickel is copper to silver.
I like that, actually.
I hate it, because everybody hates electrum.
Right, so... well...
We should try to find a place to wrap up soon. We're kind of at the end of our session.
I was gonna say, like, I think... Unless anyone else has any other questions for Grandfather's Tempe, we're off to the next task.
I'm good to go to the next task.
Right. So, friends.
So what's that?
We have a couple of hours until we go deal with the thing, the Executioner's Run. Mm-hmm. So, do we go to the Master of Assassins, or do we go and try and root out an assassin by causing a fracas in the lowliest part of town?
I mean, I'm kind of curious about this lowliest part of town situation.
So let's just review what are our questions. One was, was the murder sanctioned?
Yeah.
Where are the pirates? Where are the pirates at?
Yeah.
Right. Yep. Who's an expert on hags? Any other questions?
Where
how
is
do we
that
get-
place?
How do we get John's
Yeah.
body back to his family?
Oh
Is
yeah.
that a big thing? 'Cause I was thinking that we could quickly run to Syndra, because Syndra
Yeah.
knows the prince. Like, hey, here's the situation going on. Is there a way to get his John's body back to where he came from, and also
Yeah.
where's the assassination prince?
Right.
Because I feel like if we can,
I think that's kind of
Yeah.
because if we
I
can
think
get,
Syndra is going to be a good choice.
yeah, if we
for
can
the
push
process.
this thing onto somebody else, while we go deal with other stuff.
Mhm.
Like, hey, there's people going around making unsanctioned assassinations. Here's the information. Take care of them, please. We're dealing with other stuff.
Oh, that would irk Yenben so hard. Like, I
What?
get it. Passing off revenge.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I'm sorry, Yenben, but we're on a time crunch.
Fucking
Okay,
time
Yen, but it's
crunch
not
and
like we
death
can't
curse.
come back. We can come back if we get our two
Well,
Tweedles together. And we feel like we have time.
also good. All right. So, to Syndra.
Syndra.
We were
All right.
there yesterday evening, and somehow shit went topsy-turvy.
Are you going to Syndra or sending her a message?
I think this is a go-to Syndra. She's just up the
Because
hill.
you have a sending stone. So
We do.
Yeah.
We also would have collected all of the adventuring stuff off of John's body.
I have
Of
his
course.
stuff.
Yeah.
I'm-
Okay.
it's all in D&D Beyond. I trust you guys.
Okay. Perfect.
Cool. Okay. And so we go off to Syndra Sylvain, and we will pick up with that conversation next time.
Awesome.
The mystery continues. So
Bye, everybody.
Cool mysteriousness is.
thank
Glad
you
we're
everybody
back.
for joining us
Yeah.
for our triumphant return, and I hope to see you all next time. So long.
Huzzah!
Huzzah!
Bye.
Bye.
Toodles.